I'm going to turn my timer on so that you can see how long it takes me to do the rest of this.
I don't know just what it's becoming, and I can't tell what that means, but I wonder what you're thinking when you think you're thinking of me.
Okay, one thing, so I backcombed up to here. Now, I still have quite a bit of hair left. See, there's still about half the hair left, but as you get down to the ends, the hair gets thinner. You know, you have less quantity of hair down here toward the end. This last foot will probably make about 3 or 4 inches of dread. So what's going to happen is I'm going to like grab hair from down here and pull it up.
My heart is on an island, floating on faith, in an ocean of promises. I captain my schooner, later or sooner I'll burn in the sunset.
Okay, so here's what happens at the bottom. Don't be afraid of that. That's okay. Okay, so I'm just going to take all that I just backcombed. I'm going to do the same thing that I've been doing. I'm going to take the knots and move them up as tight as I can get them.
When you think you're thinking of me. I'm a Pisces, you know what that means.
I just backcombed this whole section of hair. So here's what it looks like, kind of close up. I'm sorry for this crappy on computer camera, but a lot of people call this the pineapple stage, when your dread is like all crazy like that, like a pineapple. This one ended up pretty long. That's good. The rest of this hour-long process I told you about is crochet hook. So this is a crochet hook that I like. This is a 1.25 size crochet hook. It's very small. The smaller the better. So what you do here, take your crochet hook in one hand, your little dread. Now remember I said I wanted it to go off to the right, so I'm going to kind of aim it off to the side here. So I'm going to take my little crochet hook and I'm going to stick it through, and what I'm doing here is I'm pulling through all the hairs. So you're just going to stick it through, grab the hair on the other side and pull it in. Okay? Like this, like you're crocheting. I end up rubbing the crochet hook across my thumb. So I'll put like across my thumb and a lot across my finger here. So if I have the crochet hook, the hook part, to scratch across my thumb, so I can feel the hair. So like I have the hair on my thumb and I can feel it coming into the body of the dread. I've gotten really fast at this. When I first started out, it took me a lot longer to be able to feel what I was doing and figure it out. This is a really good way to tighten your roots. If you want to keep your roots nice and tight, you can crochet them tight, unless you want them to grow out, which a lot of people do. But crocheting, the closer you are to your roots, the more pain you are going to experience. So keep that in mind, especially if you're doing it to someone else. It is very painful up here toward the roots because you're really pulling on that hair quite a bit. As it gets down the body of the dread, it doesn't hurt as much. But when you're up here toward the root, it can get pretty painful. So you can see here's the part that I've crocheted. So you can see it's getting thinner and it's getting more cylindrical. And here's the part that I've not yet crocheted. So when I crochet through this section, it's going to even out all those bumps, and it's going to make this really dense and really tight. at the beginning there's a lot of crocheting. That's how you get all your loose hairs back in. So what you're doing here is you're just making thousands of little knots and weaving them in and out of each other, which will help your dreads to lock a lot faster than any other method. And that's the goal, right? Is for your dreads to mature and to get a good solid lock, and that's when they start to look the way that we all want them to look. So the crochet hook method really is the only way that I've heard of or found that can really accelerate that locking process really effectively. So when you're doing this, you want to kind of twist the lock in your finger because you don't want it to be flat. So like I'll pull in some hairs with a crochet hook, and then I'll kind of give it a little quarter twist, and I'll do it again, and I'll give it another little quarter twist, and I don't want it to get really twisty, but so I'll unravel it and do it again. So I'm coming up to this kind of bulgy spot. Alright, I want you to observe how that bulgy spot just gets tightened up. That big poofy part evened out, but as I'm going down, it's making more poofy parts. But don't worry about that, they will all be evened out in this process, all the way down to the bottom.
He notices, me noticing, we pretend we didn't see. Light in August, sears September, burns brown on October leaves, conjures quips of a little woman that shoulda, coulda used to be.
And now I'm down to the bottom. So what do you do at the bottom with all this like loose hair? Well, you want to have kind of a rounded tip, right? That's kind of the goal. Little blunt tips. Roll that up a little bit, get that into a little bit of a ball. Okay, just stick it down the dread so it's sticking out the end. Okay, you see that? And I'm just going to pull and kind of like get all this balled up stuff. I'm just going to pull it upward. Now I'm going to crochet it sideways and pull a bunch of it into the side and twist it and pull a bunch of it into the side. This is a little bit thick, and then this is thin, and this is thick. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the crochet hook into the dread like this, and I'm just going to like pull some of this up. I'm going to pull these knots up into that thinner part, like all this part, this thick part at the end. This part, I'm going to pull some of those knots up. I still have that crazy fuzz at the end, so I'm going to stick the crochet hook through the bottom like that. I'm going to pull all that fuzzy stuff upward. So I still have a little bit of fuzz there at the end. There's this kind of like hard ball where I just made those big knots. So to get that last bit of fuzz, and this is also how you maintain the tips, I'm going to stick the crochet hook through the very bottom. I'm just going to take that hair and I'm going to wrap it around the crochet hook. Not very tight, but tightish. Okay. Wrap it around, and then I'm going to just pull it inside. Okay, I'm going to do it again. Take what's left, wrap it around, and pull it in. Blunt-ish tip. 1 hour and 6 minutes. Palm rolling is very important. You should palm roll every chance you get. Okay, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to palm roll. So I'm going to put it in my hands, I'm going to roll it pretty hard. I'm going to do that all the way down the body of the dread. Okay, I'm going to finish doing that later, but okay, so now look at that. He's like wiry and firm and thick. It's not going to lay down for a couple of days. It might not even lay down until I wash it. But when you've got an unruly dread, all you have to do is put it behind some others. We'll talk about maintenance and washing and some other stuff later. If you have any comments or questions, please try to be nice. I know people are kind of vicious in YouTube comments, so let's try to keep this a positive place. And if you have any questions or comments, please put them down in the comments section. If you're interested in hearing more of my music or seeing my original artwork, you can go to www.originalvagabonds.com. Right there. Thanks for watching.